What is up, Earthnoids and Space Noids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are finally diving into Tamino's classic story, Gaia. This was originally published in New Type magazine and is set in Universal Century 203, though this seems to be now set in its own timeline like Thunderbolt. You will consume G-Saver and you will like it, damn it. This story follows a young man, Afranche, Char, as he leaves his remote island and learns about the truth of his past. So let's get into this. A man looks up at the stars. This man is Afranche Char. He is 19 years old. Most of what he knows is due to the elder known as Gabasu. As he looks up at the stars this night, there doesn't seem to be any cloud coverage. He feels a sense of ambiguity of the self. The young man mentions that something feels like it is locked in the deep recesses of his memory chips. He is still amazed that he is seeing stars as Earth's atmosphere has become plagued with pollution. They grew brighter and he thought his visual sensors were malfunctioning. No. What he is seeing is everything. The people, the stars, and the life around him. Outer space is full of people. He hears someone call his name. He notes that you really gotta put some spice on it when you say Char. Char! He swims out to a girl on a paddleboard in the ocean. Her name is Everly Key. Afranche Char calls her Ava. As he swims after her, Tamino goes into detail about her butt, feet, and ankles. Tamino is putting Tarantino to shame. After Afranche chases after her for a while, the two embrace. Carrie Haw calls out to Afranche as a storm begins to brew on the island. They run into a cabin that looks like it is made out of wood, but it is all plastic. They say that plastic won't deteriorate for years. He thinks if they can condense time into mere moments, perhaps they could stretch time to last forever. These are thoughts Afranche had as a kid, but not much anymore. Inside was Gabasu, the elder. This was the person who raised Afranche. Everly comes into the room. The elders look on as Afranche gets close to Gabasu. He says that he raised him, but he knows nothing of his origins. He is meant to be in outer space. After the storm passed, Gabasu too passed away. The new elder woman tells Afranche that Gaba had many children, but they all left to meddle in machine. He too must leave for the stars. But all Afranche knows is this island. Everly doesn't want Afranche to go. She runs away, but he really hasn't made up his mind yet. He wonders why he is chasing after her. He knows he is going to go to space. But he could also see living a life with Everly, growing and selling coconuts. He hates that people are making decisions for him. The young man catches up and tells her that he has to go into space. He saw something strange in the stars and he must go. As he comforts Everly, the waves come crashing into the shore. They see a giant shadow which belongs to a mysterious machine. Afranche goes to investigate. He feels the whole of the surface. It was slippery as though it was at the bottom of the ocean for ages. He pushes something on the outside and a hatch opens up. By now, Afranche is describing the machine. He has never seen complex machinery, let alone software. Dude is out here picking coconuts for most of his life. The cockpit is flooded with water, but he finds a book made of plastic. He sees the words mobile machine and wonders if this is some sort of manual. While in the machine, something comes barreling down, causing a fire. Afranche tells Everly that he is going to investigate. Everly says, "What? That was really loud. I can't hear anything." In a moment of chaos, Tamino spends a good portion of this chapter once again focusing on Everly's body in the water. However, this time it serves a story purpose. Everly wants him to love her and stay by his side, but he is compelled by the machine, both literally and metaphorically. Although he has no memories of this man-machine, there is a familiarity and comfort he gets from it. He says he can't love her until he answers this call. Everly gets naked and yells at the machine trying to take her man. Okay. Afranche says that he must go into space because they were the dying words of Gabasu. But he knows in his heart that this is a lie and Everly can see through him. He decides to stay with her. For now. Despite some who disagreed, Afranche stayed with Everly and the two became husband and wife. As the two continue living on the island, the machine continues pushing out to sea, just sitting there, teasing him. He decides to go check on the coconuts. This is his version of going out for a pack of cigarettes. He takes off in a canoe. The storm grows stronger. He flips the canoe to protect himself, but he ends up getting knocked around in the heavy waves. He hopes Gava is watching over him, but neither he nor Everlyn can help now that he is on his journey of self-discovery. Everlyn cries alone in her hut that night. He only has a few coconuts that he brought for sustenance. He cracks open a coconut and drinks its juices. As he eats, he hears a ticking in his mind, which he heard a few times in the past. These ticks are moments of clarity of a former life that tick into place, so to speak. He looks up at the shining lights of the night sky. The young man realizes these are the lights of colonies in space. He says that there are no seas up there. A world without seas don't sit right with him. Gaba told stories of his journeys throughout the neighboring colonies. From here, he could find a ship for Hong Kong. After his long travels, he finally found civilization. He docks and tries to find a place to camp. There are many giant boats in the surrounding area. The streetlight drew him towards the cities. There, he found a bar where Gaba once took him, I assume. He just says he's been there before. He enters and asks the bartender if they have any food. The barkeep drops some peanuts in front of him. He then orders a drink with the least amount of alcohol in it. He gives him something and tells him to chase it with water. An old man asks what this unusual boy's name is. He says Afranche. It reminds him of Afranche Char. He doesn't respond. The man continues trying to talk to Afranche, who brushes him off. He says his name is Truth Stronger. He then calls him the liberating Char. Truth says that he was brought up to shoulder the burdens of the white man, and then disappears in the shadows. That's ominous. They head to his place, where they find floppy disks and books throughout the room. He turns on the lights and grabs a bottle of liquor. Afranche is mesmerized by a light bulb. This is a weird chapter where a dude keeps saying you don't understand what it is like being a white man. Afranche goes, I don't. I'm an island boy. Please explain. And then the guy going, ha, you don't understand. He then explains that one can find the self through the subconscious. After that, the man passes out in a drunken stupor. Afranche wakes up the next morning to find the drunk gone. He washes his face and thinks of Everly. The man has a timetable for a ship leaving for Hong Kong. Nothing seems to be scheduled for today, unfortunately. The drunken man comes back to the house after catching a fish. Truth agrees he could stay here again if he cleans his room. He agrees and begins organizing the books all over the room. Books range from languages to the history of migration up to Neo-Zeon. As he cleans the place, day becomes night, and the two have dinner, during which they get on the topic of space colonies. He mentions that 12 billion seems to be the max population before civilization implodes on itself. He also mentions Afranche comes from the Franks, meaning freed slave. He says that God placed other ethnicities in this world to challenge white people and spread the seed of conflict. If they exist for that purpose, they are both adversaries and potential allies for white people. Only by mastering and defeating them can white people become true masters of the world. He also mentions that most of the people on these islands weren't forced to migrate like most of the world. He says that this white nationalism, in this case I guess it would be white globalism, is an extension to Kuntolism. While people try to create a new race in space, the whites can enjoy their home that is Mother Earth. In this case, people gladly allowed for Kuntolism and spacefaring life to spread because God proclaimed Earth for white people. He also mentions that he doesn't necessarily believe this. It is just something that he reads in his journeys. But he also doesn't disagree with it outright like Afranche is doing. Also, I don't think YouTube's gonna like me talking about this. I'm playing with fire here. The next day, he went to the ferry to catch a boat to Hong Kong. Before departing, Truth explains that much of the world's oppression comes from the human subconscious, which is vague and not helpful. But then Afranche hears his name. Behind him is Everly. She runs towards Afranche, but that is when Truth smacks a bitch and calls her a vile woman. Everly is a brown-skinned island girl. Maybe he is a racist white nationalist. He tells Everly that he is a friend and these 2 days have been enlightening, but he must now depart. Well, that was awkward. Thanks for the wise racist wisdom. Everly wonders if he could come with Afranche, and he says, nah. Well, at the pier, he runs into an old friend named Carrie Howe. He asks his friend to get Everly back home safely. She wonders if he will ever return. Afranche says that he will return for her once he figures this all out. Everly says then she will wait patiently, and she gives him a hug. He gets on the boat and departs from his friend and fiancé. He sleeps once he boards the ship. However, he wakes up hours later to a hijacking. He hears a bang. There is a cruiser in front of them. They threaten to kill a hostage. The hostage happens to be Everly. He puts a gun to her head. Afranche heads towards the bridge and says that this is his fiancé. The men go, oh, well then we're just gonna have her way with her in front of you instead of killing her. That will be fun. Afranche tries to make his way towards Everly. And that will do it for our first dive into Gaia gear. Boy, this novel starts off with Tomino going full Tomino. This dude was on another level in the late 80s. We still haven't established the world outside of the islands in Hong Kong. Afranche yearns for more, but there is an ambiguity in his purpose and his understanding of the past. Ambiguity seems to be a running theme, being able to navigate life through the meaninglessness of it all and whatnot. Next time, when put in extreme situations, Afranche becomes John Wick. He will make it to Hong Kong, and he will learn the legacy of Zeon. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, Kuntolism was apparently a psyop to keep people equal but separate. Yay?